Just as the title states, I hate being an entrepreneur, or at the moment I hate being an entrepreneur, especially with the current economic state and economic times. It's getting harder and harder to do business, especially running a food business, because money is not circulating. The cost of goods has been going up and up, forcing us to up our prices literally every other week or with every other order, which is truly unsustainable for any good business, because you kind of look not legit having to change your prices every single time a client is ordering. And it may sound very easy to update our prices to match the current prices, especially if you're using my spreadsheet, but the prices we're buying our raw materials for and baking goods is going up, so we definitely have to change our prices. But when you think about it, baking, or rather any baked goods, aren't necessities but are rather mainly a luxury and not considered a necessity at all. And with the items that aren't necessities, it becomes hard to have clients on a regular basis, especially in these times, as we have to also understand that our clients also have to technically stretch out or figure out ways to stretch their money to make or help them survive the 30 days of their income. But one of the main reasons I currently hate being an entrepreneur is because we have no way of figuring out how to survive for tomorrow. I was telling one of my friends that currently I'm going almost 2 to 4 weeks without any orders, and obviously that leads to the fear or worry about tomorrow, as there is no guarantee that there's going to be an order tomorrow or the day after or this week or even next month, because we just don't know what's going to happen next. This is not to say that I don't understand or accept the privileges and opportunities that I have had or have been awarded to in the years that I've been running my business, but at the same time, I cannot help but think that if I didn't have the same privileges I have or had, then I currently don't think I would genuinely be surviving in business or in life in general with the same opportunities or with the same circumstances rather that are currently available. It sucks even more to see others in your industry having to shut down indefinitely or just take long hiatuses, because it has become unsustainable to continue running a business when incurring way too many losses or being forced to absorb too many of the costs so that we can please our clients. This hurts more when we see those we look up to and consider pioneers or mentors or just great bakers or our inspirations having the same problems that we are also facing. Part of me constantly and always believes that the path that is set for me is mine alone and wouldn't and shouldn't be affected by others. But at the same time, it becomes hard to keep pushing when the unknown gets harder and harder, especially because we do not have a steady or set salary or set monthly income, especially if you're a solo baker with no investors or someone else like giving you money, say a spouse or a partner in any way. It's becoming harder and harder to meet our targets, be it personal or business targets, as we don't know when our next order will come. So we cannot, even taking a business loan, I'm very sure at the moment seems impossible or improbable, because how do you take a loan when you don't know if you'll be able to pay it in a week or in a month? How do you take, like, giving the easiest example I could possibly give, how could I take an M-Shwari loan when I do not know if in 30 days I would be able to repay back that M-Shwari with this current economic times? How are we going to be able to pay our employees or our assistants without these orders? Because if we cannot afford to pay ourselves, in the end we will not be able to pay those who work for us, pay back our loans and such like things. So it does leave me wondering if I should also follow suit and quit while I'm still ahead, because at this rate the future does not look quite exciting, and it does look very bleak, to be honest. But at the same time, quitting doesn't seem like a valid option for me, especially because I have never had any type of formal employment. So what would become of me if I was to give up my main source of income? And yes, yet again, I say I am very aware of my privileges that have always been awarded to me, and that is also why I never got to have a formal income. a formal job, basically a 9 to 5. But at the same time, with the way things are at the moment, I kind of do regret it a lot. I really do wish I did go to a 9 to 5 or rather an 8 to 5 instead of pursuing baking, because then maybe, well, I'm just assuming, maybe I would have enjoyed having a salary, be it kidogo salary, like little salary or sustainable. It might not be enough, I'm assuming, but at least then I would have something to look forward to at the end of each month or end of every work day. But the thing with being self-employed and employing other people is they have to look up to you, and when you cannot, it feels really shitty or really bad to be unsure if you'll even be able to pay them or run your business and all that, especially right now. You're left with the thought of, I know so many, not just bakers, so many other entrepreneurs I know are really struggling with the thought, oh, should I let go of my employee or employees, because they cannot see how it will sustain the business to have 4 members they're paying when they're not making enough to pay the 4 people and still run the business. So they're being forced to look at, should I let 2 of them go? And if I'm letting them go, how will they even survive once I let them go? Like, I know so many entrepreneurs really struggling with the thought at the moment of what to do next, because none of us have an answer to it. So what should I do as well? And I think one of the other things I'm currently disliking a lot, and I truly don't want to say the word hate, but it's more of a hate than a dislike, is the amount of upcoming bakers who call, text, DM in the pretense of being clients just to ask for prices. And one thing with me is I have always been transparent with my pricing. I have always stated, if you're a starting baker or you're a beginner baker and you don't know how to price your cakes, just ask me upfront. Just text me and tell me, hey, I have ABCD order, and how much would now me as Wangeshi charge? And I've never had a problem telling you how much I would charge. I will tell you my genuine price. I never lie about it, because in the end, what if you're genuinely ordering? So I actually put my prices transparently, I guess. And at the same time, also the friends I've made in the industry, when I have an order where I can comfortably do but I don't know how to charge, I comfortably ask my friends, my baker friends, and they have always shared with me how much they would charge. And if I consider this baker friend to be at the same pricing level as I am, I tell my client the same. If I consider this baker to be at a higher level than I am, I also charge according to, like, let's say I assume baker A charges 3,000 per kg and I normally charge 4,000 per kg, that I would know, okay, if she's charging 8k for that design, then maybe I can charge 9k or 10k. If baker B charges 5k per kg and I charge 4k per kg, if she tells me she'd charge 12k, I know then I can charge between 10 and 12. I have never had a problem sharing my prices. So with the current outpouring of starting out bakers, because I'm assuming these are starting out bakers who do not want to do the labor of calculating their own prices, even when I have an easy-to-use spreadsheet, or invest their own time for their own personal business, they pretend to be clients. And I'm pretty sure you're wondering how I know it's a fake client or a baker and not a potential client. But hear me out, it's never hard to differentiate between a genuine client and someone who just wants to know your prices. You can always tell by the questions they ask, how they refuse to switch the conversation from, let's say, Instagram and switch to WhatsApp. You'll get answers like, I don't have WhatsApp. How can you not have WhatsApp in this day and age? They don't want to switch to any phone number. They just want to continue their chat on DMs. Some also forget that they have previously DM'd you to ask you a question or just ask you if you teach. Because personally, I do not delete any messages. I believe in keeping the messages so I can still see we've chatted before. You and I have had a conversation before, so I can tell. You've asked me about baking before, so why are you now asking me about prices? Why are you trying to pretend you want to order a cake? And sometimes I do call out these people because I'll genuinely ask, did you stop baking and that's why you're trying to order from me? And 90% of the time I've asked that, the conversation just dies. So instead of just being open and honest with where you want this conversation to go, don't pretend to be a client, basically, because it's never hard to differentiate between a genuine client and someone who just wants to know your price so that they can charge less for their goods because they're trying to undercut and lowball so that they get the order. And honestly and genuinely, I truly believe that there is no problem with it ethically, morally, physically at all. But the amount of grief, I want to call it grief because it makes you feel like something is wrong with your business. I want to call it grief. I don't have another word for it at the moment. The amount of grief it causes those of us who are genuinely and actually trying our best to run a business. It leaves us wondering, maybe we should lower our prices, because sometimes you can't figure out if that was a fake client or an actual client. So should we lower our prices so that we get booked for the orders? But at the same time, and I remember talking to someone about this, and we were saying maybe we should start lowering our prices, and if these people are genuine bakers, they'll have no choice but to lower their own prices because we've lowered our prices, and then they end up hurting themselves completely. But at the same time, if I lower my prices just to pretend to hurt this fake baker, this fake client, what if this actual client orders and now I'm the one who's undercutting myself? But what options do we have? And genuinely, it sucks. And I know I shouldn't concern myself with that, but it genuinely does suck to constantly deal with it. And there's truly nothing I can do about it. But it makes me really hate checking my DMs, checking my WhatsApp at the moment, because 1 out of like 15 people is a genuine client, and it genuinely sucks. And I don't like wishing bad for people, but sometimes I hope karma does exist for these people. Anyway, in truth, I am just venting out how it is at the moment, and obviously complaining a little bit, but I'm almost certain I'm not the only one with these thoughts or these feelings. And I really do truly hope things change and improve for us and the entire world. But at the moment, this is where I am. And it really makes it hard to keep a positive mindset going when all this is happening, especially financially, because I am a firm believer. Money brings happiness. No one can convince me. Otherwise, I'm not saying billionaire type of money. Anyway, money brings happiness. Money buys comfort, and comfort buys happiness. So money does, in a way, buy happiness. And anyways, as usual, thanks for watching and or listening, and I will definitely see you in the next one. Bye.